What's up, guys? Sorry about that. I'm a little late. Had to send a quick message in the Discord so we can get more people in here. Hello, hello. Um, all right. So yeah, today, as I just said, we are going to be ranking some more stuff. We had a great time doing that last time, and based on my community poll, that was one of your guys' favorite streams. So hopefully it is even better this time. Feel free to chime in what you think things should be ranked, and we'll figure this out. So the first thing we're going to be ranking is I've pulled up here a bunch of Arduino sensors. Now, I couldn't find any more Arduino tier lists already on Tier Maker, so I had to kind of customize these myself, make them custom. So if there are any other sensors you can think of, definitely shout them out and we can add them to the list here. But we've got a pretty good showing here. I feel like we might be missing one little thing here. If we search it up, we have, of course, a very important item we have to add. That should do it. Okay, that's not well formatted at all. It just says subsc, but I think that'll get the idea across. So the first sensor we have here is an ultrasonic sensor. Now this is a pretty good one. It measures the distance pretty accurately. I think it kind of gets inaccurate after like I don't know, maybe a yard or something like that. But it does a pretty good job, pretty precise measurement there. So honestly, that could be S tier. I'm trying to think of what use cases it's been used for. Obviously, like, just a basic like ruler type of setup. But yeah, I think, or like a tripwire or something, if you wanted to detect someone passing through, anything like that. Honestly, it does a pretty good job there. And some of these sensors, like, you have to wait in between like polling them, so you have to wait like a second before you can ask them the distance again. But this one's pretty fast, so you can get a pretty fast, consistent output on that. So yeah, I would say it's an S tier sensor here. PIR motion sensor. Now this one, I don't know, it's definitely very popular, right? You get a lot of people showing off this one. Obviously, it can detect movement, or people, animals, that type of thing. But honestly, it doesn't have a whole lot of use cases, because, like, I mean, what are you gonna do if you detect movement? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't give you very much information to go off of. I think I'm gonna have to put it B tier, honestly, because, like, yeah, there's not as much you can do with it as some of these other sensors. Yeah, exactly. I think B tier is a solid place to put it. RFID. Now these ones are really cool. Because yeah, you can have the different cards or tags here, which it shows here, and you can have, like, they each have a unique ID, so you can have like millions, or maybe it's even like billions of different cards, and it can identify each one. So that's a cool one and it's just very, like, I mean, when you think of like a modern security system, that's what you think of, tapping a card or a phone or something like that. And I think that's definitely a cool thing to be able to do with Arduino. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, like, what use cases, we would actually end up using them for on the channel, but definitely they definitely have a lot of use cases out there in the real world. And yeah, they're definitely cool to just play around with. Okay, next we have this touch sensor. Now this is I actually did a video on capacitive touch sensors a couple of days ago, and they have some cool properties, but this one in particular doesn't look very useful. So, like, it's basically just going to detect if your finger or even some other conductors like come into play with it, whether it's contact, or some of them are even sensitive enough, like they can detect it if you're just nearby, like you don't actually have to touch it, which is kind of cool. But yeah, this one in particular, I don't think there's a lot of use cases for. I think the best use case for like capacitive touch type of things is when you have something that's already metal, and then you can just have that be touched and then read input from that. It's like one of those, bedside lamps, where you like touch it and it turns on. Like, that's a cool use case for that, because you just touch it and it does something. Having like this extra PCB, like, it might as well be a button, honestly. I think it's C tier. I might put it B, just because like the idea of the capacitive touch sensing thing is really cool. I mean, it's the same technology used in phone screens and whatnot, but this implementation is not great. A water sensor. Now this is actually, I mean, this is kind of a similar idea. I think basically it sends out on some of these, like there's a bunch of little metal strips here, and I think on some of them it'll send out electricity, and on the others it'll read. So obviously if there's water, then electricity will pass through from some of the strips to the other strips, and you'll know. I think it might even have like a height. I'm not sure. It might even have like a height aspect where it can detect like how high the water is based on how easily the electricity is flowing. Because obviously if it's at the top, the electricity would flow more easily. Yeah, I definitely think, yeah, this one is good. The touch sensor is good at what it does, but it's not as versatile. Let me check one setting here right quick. Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to check there's like a setting where you can change like how much latency there is, which affects like how fast the chat messages come from you to me or whatever. So I just wanted to check and make sure we're on low latency mode so I can see them as soon as possible. So the water sensor, yeah, I think it falls into that same boat of good at what it does, but it's not that versatile. So honestly, probably also B tier. I think, yeah, so there's not a whole lot of use cases for it. I guess like we have another one, this soil moisture sensor here, which is much more interesting, I guess. Like it's kind of like a cross between this water sensor and this touch sensor. It does like a much better job calculating how much moisture there is in the soil, which I feel like is the main kind of use case that you'd use this water sensor for. I don't know. I think it's, yeah, I got a much better potential there, because like that's what I think of when I think of the water sensor. I think of like sticking it in a pot and then using that to tell you if you need to water it or something. That way you can touch grass even from, you know, within your house, which is always nice. So then we have next up we have the light sensor, and this is, I don't know why there's this whole PCB attached to it. Like you can just use one of these light dependent resistors without all of that extra stuff there. But I think it's pretty, honestly, it's quite good. I don't know A or S here, but like yeah, if you want to be able to sense how much light there is, you know, a light dependent resistor does a really nice job of that. I might put it S tier. For like a night light or anything like that, I mean, you basically, you'll always see this little guy, this little light dependent resistor right there. And, yeah, I think it does a nice job. There hasn't been much innovation there in a while, I would say, but that's, I guess, just because it does such a good job. Ooh, this next one here is probably the most complex one on the list here. This is like a gyroscope and accelerometer, so it can detect like how it's moving and how it's rotating, and it does it pretty precisely, I would say. So yeah, like you can tell the movement. So for an upcoming lightsaber project, I'm using one of these or similar to detect the, you know, movement and rotation, so you can tell how, like if for example, if you're hitting against something suddenly, then obviously it's going to be moving and then stop moving or start moving in the other direction if it reflects off. So it's definitely very cool for that. And also you can do like slower, more precise things, like if you know, were to put one on your hand, then you might be able to detect some gestures like that. So I think, yeah, honestly, this could be S tier. One thing I will say that might, yeah, they are really cool. One thing I will say that might tempt me to put it A tier is they can be really finicky. Just getting them, I don't know, sorted out, just because, I don't know exactly how they work. I think it's like a, like there's like a little like ball that is sort of dragged behind with the momentum. It's hard to explain. You have to look up a visualization, really. But yeah, they can be kind of finicky. So that's my main complaint against them. But honestly, for the how cool, like the features you can pull off with them are really cool. So I think they're gonna have to be S tier. This next one is like, I think it like senses different like gases and stuff. So like if you wanted to make a carbon monoxide alarm or something with Arduino, you could do that with this. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty specialized use case, and I haven't actually used one of these. Hello. I haven't actually used one of these, but I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, assuming it's good at what it does, it could be A or B tier. Pretty specialized. I might have to put it in B tier because that's kind of what we're doing with the more specialized ones that don't have as many use cases. So yeah, I think B tier is probably a fair place to put it. Next we have an IR receiver. So this one, yeah, these are definitely also cool. Basically, you know, just TV remote technology. The TV remote has a little IR LED on the end that sends out light signals, and this thing, you know, can pick them up, and obviously the Arduino can translate them into other, into like actual commands and then do something with them. So yeah, making your own carbon monoxide detector, I don't know if I would trust that in my own home. I feel like I would rather have, you know, a certified off-the-shelf smoke detector rather than relying on, you know, some patchy Arduino project. That's fair. That's fair. Yes, the IR LED, honestly, it could be S tier. Like, it has maybe A tier. Like, it has pretty broad applications, I would say. And yeah, I don't know. It's good at its job. Again, it can be a little finicky. You'll notice like it has this metal cage around it. Some of them are literally just like the dark, a bit like little LED bulb. It has the metal cage around it to try to prevent light from coming in from other sides. But one thing that you will notice is sometimes other lights, even not infrared lights, other lights can just interfere with those signals and make it harder for that to figure out what the actual signals that are coming in are. So yeah, but so I think A tier is fair. I may slightly be putting it there because we have 4 on S and 4 on B, which might slightly tempt me to, you know, try to even them out. But you know, that's not been proven yet. So let's hold our horses. Next up, we have this subscribe button, which looks pretty terrible because it's just the middle few letters here. But obviously, we've got to put that in S tier. And if anyone here hasn't subscribed, you should. I mean, if you want to be an S tier person, you've got to do it. So just check that box right now, and we'll carry on. This next one here is a temperature and humidity sensor. So yeah, I think these are pretty good. It's basically like if you know those like shiny light billboards you see when you go by a bank or whatever, where they always have the time and the temperature and humidity. Like, I mean, you can make that with this little guy right here, and you know whatever that screen is. Yeah, it does a good job with the temperature and humidity. One thing about it is it can't detect. I mean, I don't know if you would ever need this, but it can't detect very rapid changes. It only like can report to you like, I think it's like once every second or something like that. Otherwise, it gets bad results. But yeah, provided you don't need to know the temperature more than once every second updated, it should be pretty good to go. This next one here is, you can see there's like a little microphone on the end there. So it's just a sound sensor. I think it's just going to have like a one pin output for like an analog output for how loud it is. So obviously, you know, loud would be all the way at the top and not very loud would be all the way at the bottom. And then you can see it has like a little trim potentiometer here that you could adjust that with presumably. But honestly, like it's not super useful because like you're taking a microphone, which obviously detects not just how loud it is, but like all of the sound which you could record, and instead you're just getting out how loud it is, which you know, there are some use cases for like maybe a clap to turn on, clap to turn off type of thing could be good with that. But honestly, it's not. I feel like it's limiting the functionality of a microphone quite a lot. So I think I'm gonna C tier it, honestly. This one here doesn't look like much. I think it's supposed to be like a clock module, which obviously is pretty cool, I would say. Being able to keep, because this slot here is for a battery, so you can put in an extra like coin cell battery, just like a watch, and that way if your Arduino does lose power, like just maybe a power flicker or something like that, then when it comes back on, it'll reconnect with the clock module. The clock module will have kept the perfect time, so you won't lose time. Like if you're having an alarm at 9 a.m. every day, you'll still have that alarm go off at 9 a.m. every day. Whereas if you didn't have the clock module, your Arduino turns off, turns back on. Suddenly your Arduino thinks it's whatever the default time that the program starts at is, and then it's a whole mess. So definitely a lot of use cases for this. So I think I'm going to put an A tier. A thermistor module. So this is kind of like a dumber temperature sensor. It's like we have this temperature and humidity sensor up here, but then imagine if it was like that, except kind of like the light dependent resistor. So this little, well, it's cut off, but it's just like a little black dot. And it basically just gives you an analog value for how, I guess, how hot it is, I think. So a higher value would mean that it's hotter. So not nearly as useful. Honestly, could be C tier. Obviously, it's much cheaper than this more complicated temperature and humidity module, but definitely more limited use cases. I don't know what kind of scenario you would need that kind of very limited temperature information about. Maybe there's some. I can't think of any off the top of my head. This next one here is really cool though. I haven't gotten to test out one of these, but this is a color sensor. So basically, you've got these 4 white LEDs at the corners, and they shine up, and then this little one this little thing in the middle like reads how much red and green and blue there is in, you know, whatever is right above it, shined on by these lights. I think that'd be a really cool one to test. So I can't put it S tier because I don't know if it actually works really well, but if it does, it would definitely, I feel like that would definitely be an S tier thing, and the idea of it is really cool. So I'm gonna A tier it until I get a chance to test it. And then we have our last sensor is a barometer. I don't know why I just went in F tier. I don't know. So for testing air pressure, I guess. I don't know what Arduino projects you would need to test air pressure for. Maybe if you were, you know how those little like brownie box recipes always say, if you're above this altitude or air pressure, you have to do this different cooking time. Maybe if you wanted to just check for sure that you're not at a certain altitude and air pressure, you could use one of these. But that seems like a kind of limited use case, if I'm being honest. So yeah, so it could be B or C. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put it C. So, you know, the tiers aren't quite even, but we have this nice stair step here. None of the sensors made it in F tier, which is good. Yeah, so that's the tier list for Arduino sensors. If you guys can think of any others, we could throw them on real quick. Otherwise, we can go ahead and move to our next tier list. Okay, yeah, so here I've prepared a tier list of tools that you use with Arduinos. I've made some videos about some of these products, but this is going to be digital tools and physical tools, so both combined and tier listed together. First, it looks like we've got a multimeter, so yeah, I'd say it's pretty useful. Honestly, A or S. So yeah, obviously, like checking batteries, checking your resistors if you forget how to read the resistor color code, checking if your circuit is just actually sending any electricity through, all kinds of stuff like that. So honestly, I think it's a solid A tier to put a multimeter there. Yeah, solid A tier. It gets used a lot. Helping hands. Now I'm tempted between S and A tier because the thing is, if you're not, when you first transition from not using helping hands, I think the delay is high. I mean, it thinks it's low, so I'm hoping that it's low. It's not on ultra low. Maybe next time we'll try ultra low. For some reason, you can't change it while the stream is running. Maybe next stream, if I remember, I'll set the delay to ultra low instead of just regular low. But hopefully that is good enough. For the helping hands, when you first go from not using any helping hands, and like it's a struggle to solder without that, to helping hands, it's definitely like a momentary S tier where you're like, wow, this is what human innovation is all about. And then, you know, maybe you chill a little bit and move it down to A tier. Yeah, okay, so a soldering iron, it's kind of the core of a lot of Arduino projects, because even if you just pick up an Arduino, often you have to solder the pin headers on there. And for a finished product, obviously you're gonna have to solder S for soldering is the arms. Yeah, they are. The arms are. Yeah, S. I definitely think a soldering iron is S tier. I'm tempted to put the arms S tier, but I do kind of like, yeah, the S is for soldering, A is for arms. That kind of makes sense. So yeah, we'll leave it like this. We'll leave it like this. Wire strippers. Oh, this is the wire strippers that I have. Yeah, definitely very useful until it falls over. Yeah. This one has like a decently heavy base, but the ones that have like a clamp to clamp down, those are the really nice ones. Yeah, so that you can keep it up, because you don't want your hot solder wires falling over. Iron is S plus. Honestly, it is. Yeah. So wire strippers, I feel like, yeah, they're okay. Maybe we should put them in B tier. I can't put everything in A tier. Obviously, this is a hobby we all enjoy, so we're tempted to put things a little higher, but we have to, we have to keep in mind, in the grand scope of things, wire strippers might actually be a B tier object. I don't know, but definitely very handy. It's annoying to try to strip wires with scissors or whatever, and then you just end up cutting off more and more of the wire until eventually you're just left with a little dot. That's not great. So that's why we have wire strippers. Definitely very nice. And these ones, if you guys haven't used ones like these, like they have the two little things that come down. So basically, it doesn't, like, whatever thickness the wire is, it just automatically does it. Like, you don't have to worry about the one of those like kind of manual wire strippers where you have to look at the wire and look at the hole and then strip with the right hole. No. This is a modern one where you can just automatically get it. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Let's do it A tier. Let's do it A tier. Yeah, I think it's A tier. Okay, then we have the Arduino IDE. Yeah, I mean this kind of has to go S tier, even though it starts with an A. It kind of has to go S tier because, yeah, almost every Arduino project, you're going to need to program your Arduino, and the Arduino IDE is obviously the main way to do that. So I think it's S tier. Next, we have YouTube, which is obviously a great resource for finding helpful tutorials on how to make Arduino projects, and obviously subscribing to, whoever makes those tutorials. So I think we got to put that S tier. Next up we have Blender, which is, I don't know if you guys know, it's a tool for like 3D modeling, so you can kind of do some 3D modeling designs, like if you want to 3D print a part of the circuit or just like prototype. It's not as good for electronics. I could put it C tier. I kind of want to put it B tier, B for Blender, and also I like Blender for a lot of use cases, but it could be C tier. It's not as useful for prototyping Arduino stuff as some other softwares which are more electronics specific. So yeah, we could put it C tier. Google, obviously, it's got to be S tier, kind of the top resource for researching if you forget how to turn on and off an LED or how to set up the Arduino IDE. You've got to go to Google first. I think Blender is A or B. Okay, well, if another person's going to agree with me, I think we'll bump it up to B. It's definitely a very nice software. Don't get me wrong. The only reason we're not putting it as high up is because for Arduino specific things, it's not as applicable as some other prototyping software, which we might get to later. And the next one is actually I don't know if you guys have used this much. I think I've mentioned it in a couple videos. The Walkwee simulator. It's like it's a circuit simulator, but it's really nice. It has a lot of Arduino components. I used it for some of the prototyping for early lightsaber creation stuff. And yeah, it has Arduino boards, NeoPixel LEDs, a whole bunch of sensors and stuff. So I think it's A tier. It's pretty nice. Let me just pull it up. Yes, you can pull up like a board, and then like they even have like some sample projects here. Electronics, like, so they have a pretty good simulator here. That is weird when you drag it, the wires don't move for a moment. But anyway, yeah, and you can apply your code and do it in real time. So it's a solid simulator. I'm gonna put it A tier. Wire snippers, obviously useful, but then again, you can't just use scissors if you don't like you don't technically need a specific instrument specifically for cutting wire. So this might be a B or C or tier type object, honestly, because it's not as essential as some of the other objects. I think I'm going to put it B tier because like it doesn't really deserve to go any lower down than that. Next up, a computer. Obviously very useful for programming Arduinos or researching Arduino projects, anything like that. Might have to be S tier. Now I am biased because I sit in front of a computer literally all day, but I think computers are very, very, very solid invention overall. I think we're gonna have to put S tier, honestly. Next up we have 3D printers. Definitely cool. And an interesting, like, newer innovation into the field of electronics. I mean, not that it isn't all new, relatively speaking, but yeah, 3D printing is definitely really good. I mean, S because half the stuff. Yeah, exactly. Computers are definitely needed for a lot of Arduino projects, whether it's programming or buying the components as you're mentioning or anything like that. I think 3D printers could be A or B. I'm not sure. The thing is, they are kind of expensive, like as compared to just like making something out of like PVC or something like that. They can be kind of expensive, and the work you have to do to come up with a model for that is somewhat more than the work you have to do to come up with like a quick design for like a cardboard cutout or something like various, tutorials do. So I think it's gonna have to be B because it is high effort and high expense for the kinds of projects that we're doing. So yeah. And then Tinkercad. Honestly, solid A or S tier. Tinkercad is again, it has circuit simulation stuff just like this Walkwee simulator that we were looking at, but it also has 3D modeling. So I think I might have to keep clicking on the wrong tab. I think I have to S tier it. It kind of deserves to be A, but the thing is, if Walkwee is A, Walkwee has circuit simulation, Tinkercad has just as good circuit simulation, and it also has some 3D modeling capabilities too, which are nice. So I think I'm gonna have to S tier it because it has circuit simulation and 3D modeling. It's like Blender and Walkwee combined, except obviously Blender is a lot more powerful for 3D modeling. But I think for Arduino stuff, Tinkercad definitely is a good resource for that. Plus, you can find a lot of stuff you need. Like if you need a AA battery for your design, so you can figure out the size of a battery casing, like you can find that on Tinkercad just in the gallery. You can find that and then import it into your project and use it for your design. You can't so much do that with, you kind of can with Blender, but it's harder. It's harder. So I think this is a solid tier list for our different tools that we can use with Arduino. Are there any other tools that we're missing here? Trying to think about Arduino projects. I think this is a pretty good set of tools that you can make a lot of Arduino projects with. And here we have a pretty good set of sensors as well. What else can we rank? Chat, what do you think? Like Arduino related. We try to keep it Arduino related for the first hour at least of the stream, and then we can go off the rails a little bit. I think yeah, we could rank other like input devices, honestly. Like this is sensors, but what about like buttons and joysticks and stuff like that? Like we could rank that, honestly. Rank the different boards. Well, we did rank the different boards on the last stream. So yeah, I don't really want to do that again very much because yeah, we went through that whole process on the last stream, and I released the VOD of that too. So if you want to check that out, definitely do. I don't think we were able to find anything else on Tier Maker. We went through this tier list last time, and these are the two new ones which I just made. So yeah, that's can we find anything else electronics related, or maybe programming? Because we like program 40 okay, last time we ranked some programming languages. We did not rank 40. That's a lot. So we could try that out. That's one option. What else can we try out? Ooh, electronics distributors and vendors. That could be good. I'm not sure if this is going to be like the kinds of vendors that you'll be getting Arduino components from. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Okay, so several of them are here. Not gonna lie, I don't know who a lot of these brands are, but they have some of the classics: Adafruit, DigiKey. So, do they have Mouser? I don't see Mouser. I don't know. A lot of these seem a little unrelated. We could try it. Or we could try this programming one. We could also compile a new tier list. I don't know. It's a lot of scrounging the internet for images and thinking up different things in the category. But I mean, we could. For now, let's try to improve this vendors tier list a little bit. Where do you guys buy electronics from? All right, because obviously we're missing some of the key ones here. We have a lot of like big wholesale distributors, but we're missing some of like the places that we would actually go and buy electronics from. Like for example, Amazon obviously is a big one. So if we grab an Amazon logo, that should help us out. Where else? Maybe like eBay. I don't know. That's maybe not as good, but you know, that's why it's on the tier list. So we can rank it. Obviously the Arduino store, honestly. Oh, Micro Center, that's a good one. We'll get that next. Save image downloads. Micro Center. Yes. Micro Center, where else? What do they? I don't think they actually had Mouser electronics, which I've heard a lot of people get their electronics from. I don't know if I have ever actually gotten any from them. Ooh, LED supply. That's great. If you're making like a lightsaber and you want some of the LED components, you can get them there. I've done that in the past. They have some good prices. AliExpress. Yeah, that's true. Where is it? Where's a square one? We need like a square one. There we go. Where else? That's a pretty. I mean, that's several more. Should be enough. Oh, I missaved several of them. We're gonna have to go back and try to grab them. I don't even know what we just searched for. Let's just. If we just. Yeah, we can't. Pull out the same. Okay, so we lost some progress. It's like we missed a save here. We got AliExpress and Mouser. Somehow we didn't get several of the other ones. Let's try again. Amazon. What else was there? eBay. Micro Center. Right. Here we go. Oh, that's an old logo for them. I don't know if I've seen that one before. LED supply, yeah. Save. Okay, I think that's probably most of the ones we lost there. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. LED supply, Micro Center, Amazon, eBay. Excellent. That'll make up for the ones that we don't know in this list here. So all right, let's start ranking these. What is this? Radio Shack, I assume. Yeah, I haven't seen many Radio Shacks around recently. I don't know about you guys, but maybe average. I don't know. Okay, so we have the tiers here, a little bit different. We have goated, excellent, great, average, not always reliable, and probably should be out of business. Oof. So yeah, and this is not the stores as a whole. This is just for getting electronics components. So I would say Radio Shack, it might be great. It might be great because we're gonna have a lot of lower down ones, I think. So Mouser I think it's a pretty good one. Actually, it might be average because the thing is, with some of these companies, they want you to buy in like a mega bulk. Like they want you to buy 100 or 1,000 units. Like I'm not gonna buy. Maybe I'd buy 100 LEDs or something like that, but 100 or 1,000 Arduino boards, not so much. Not so much. I'm not looking to do that. Adafruit is really nice, but their shipping, man, their shipping kills. I mean, it might just be because we're comparing them to like Amazon and stuff, but like the shipping is it can be expensive, and I live in the continental U.S., so like it's not like I'm shipping to Australia here, but if you were shipping to Australia, yeah, it'd probably be a deal breaker for sure. I think I'm gonna have to put them in great instead of goated. Amazon, actually, I might put them in goated and Amazon as well, because I don't know. They don't have the shipping. They do have a good selection, and their prices are better. So it's just whether the shipping ends up, if you're buying several things. Actually, I don't know if their prices are better. Let's find out. Adafruit, like, what if we just want to buy? I don't know. It's good old LED. They do have stuff that Amazon doesn't have. Like Amazon probably doesn't have illuminated push buttons like this. But if I just want to buy. Okay, let's an LED matrix. Sure. I'm trying to look for something that we could for sure find on Amazon, so we can price compare accurately. Why are these so random? Like, I'm just looking for like a 5mm LED, not like, okay, 100 pages. How much stuff do they have? Let me search 5mm LED. Okay, here we go. A 25 pack of LEDs is $5 there. I'm pretty sure Amazon's gonna beat that. Let me search 5mm LED 25. I don't want to do like 450 because obviously the price is gonna be way better for that. Pack of 25 for $567. Okay, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's not better. Okay, so the price on Adafruit is actually a little bit better, but if we were to try to check out, well, it's out of stock too. That's not great. But if we were to try to check out, the shipping would be much more. So I think they can both go S tier. Adafruit's a little cheaper, better selection, but the shipping makes it a little bit more expensive typically. Amazon, less selection, but its shipping is very fast, and obviously it's typically free. Okay, and this next one, I'm not sure what this is. Something electronics. I don't know. We might have to add another tier because I don't know a lot of these companies. I don't even know if they're like electronics companies or what. But yeah, I don't know. I do not know. We'll make this one a nice gray color for I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that company. Okay, this for all we know, I could know what this company is, but since all we're given is one letter of the name, it may be a little bit tough. Oh, this company looks familiar. It's, what is it? Is it like Aladdin or something? Ladder Distributions. I think it's like Ladder Distributions. I don't know. I'm gonna put them in average. I think I've heard of them. Don't have that much to say. I don't know who this is. DigiKey. I think it's good. It's kind of like Mouser. They try to sell you a lot of stuff. Actually, I might put them in great. Not because of their products, because I don't know if I've bought anything from them, but because if you're looking for like the data sheet for a product, DigiKey will typically have it. So you can search up your product, find it on DigiKey, and then you can find the data sheet for it, which is really helpful. So that's pretty great. That's pretty great. What is this? We have the letters O, L, and I'm guessing E to go by. I don't know. Just gonna have to put in the I don't know. Same with this company. And wait, is this? I think I almost know who this is. I'm gonna put them in average. I don't know who most of these companies are. I'm kind of just throwing them all in here now. All right, we're to the ones that we added to the list. AliExpress. It can be good. It can be good. Shipping is a main concern. It takes a long time to ship. And we have an extra row here. I think I accidentally messed up the other row, but it takes a long time to ship from AliExpress, which is gonna put them in great or average. I'm not sure which, but they have good deals. They have good deals. I'll give them that. And typically their products, I think, are decent. Some of their boards, I feel like when they come, they don't have the bootloader installed, so then you have to go through that process, which is annoying. But I think they all work in the end eventually. So a great or average. I think if you know what you're getting into, you know you're going to get it for cheap, but you're going to get a long shipping time and potentially some issues, then they're good. I think we have to put them in average. Oh, there was a mouser, or one of these was a mouser, so we don't really need 2 mousers, but we have 2 mousers now. So there you go. eBay, I don't know if they're the best for electronics components though. That's the thing. Obviously you can find good stuff on there, but yeah, for electronics components, I don't know why I added them to the list. They're probably not a good place to go. There's just too much variability. Like if someone's like lists a 2-year-old Arduino Nano minimal defects, like what are you gonna do with that? I don't know. I mean, Arduinos are pretty tough. They last through a lot, but still, it's probably not great. LED supply is pretty good. Now you guys might have to let me know what you think, because I'm a little biased here, because they did sponsor one of my videos a while back. It's not ongoing, so I can say whatever I want about them. But they did. I feel like they have nice products, and the support team there is really nice. So I definitely like that. So I'm tempted to put them in goated, unless someone stops me. I think, yeah, they just have these crazy bright LEDs that are really good for lightsabers. I don't know what other people use them for. I don't know how they're in business, because I don't think they're in business just selling LEDs for lightsabers. But whoever's keeping them in business, I'm thankful for that, because if you want to make a baselit lightsaber, you can get them at LED supply cheaper than anywhere else I've seen them. The LEDs for that, and the drivers for that as well. Micro Center, probably goated as well. They have pretty good prices. If you're ever in person at a Micro Center store, you can swing by, get a good deal, and go your own way. Plus, they send you emails with free coupons, which is nice as well. I mean, that's how they get you. But you know, I think it's S tier, goated, whatever. I think this is a fair tier list, except for all of the ones in the I don't know row, because yeah, I don't know what the companies are or what they do. But there you go. Maybe I should do some more research on electronics manufacturers. But for now, here's our tier list on that. Yeah, pretty decent. That's our tools tier list, sensors tier list. Okay, we do have this tier list, but I mean, I did do a programming tier list before, so I'm not sure if we really want to do that again with just a slightly different tier list. The other thing is, we do sometimes do video game creation on this. I wonder if they have like a game engines tier list. That could be interesting. 3D game engine tier list. Oh wow, they found a lot. Dude, I don't even know if I'm gonna know what all of these are. But yeah, if you guys are interested, we can tier list some game engines. Wow, yeah, this is a list. I don't even know if I see all of the ones I know, but I definitely see a lot I do not know. Like, did they somehow miss Unreal Engine on here or something? Because I don't. Oh no, it's right here. It's just a black on white logo. Yeah, you want to see this? All right, let's go through it. S, A, B, C. I'm gonna make this F because we don't really need a D tier. What we need is an F tier, and then never use. Okay, see, they included an I don't know category. I appreciate that. Because like, how am I gonna know what? Dude, what is this? Like 30 game engines? Like that's a lot. All right, so then I do want to just slightly sneak in one more little item here if I can find it, because I was having trouble finding it last time. Where did I put it? We need to slip in a little subscribe moment just for the VOD or whatever. We have to sneak that in. Okay, that's not what I meant to do. We need to add it right here. I should have researched this before so I could subtly slide it in, but here we go. Let's put it about halfway through. That way we can have a little shout out halfway through. Anyway, on to the first one. Haven't used, honestly. This is, what is that? Is that Oracle? Oracle. No, not Oracle. What is the word I'm thinking of? I did not mean to do that. What is the word I'm thinking of that is game engine related? You've got, all right. Well, we'll see you next week. Don't worry about it. Okay. A lot of these maybe haven't used. Thank you. I appreciate that. A-frame, I've heard it's not great. App Game Kit. All right, there's one I know a little bit more about. Haven't used it, which is awkward, but we have to rank some of these. So we're gonna have to go based on hearsay here for some of them. App Game Kit, I've heard it's decent. I don't want to put it A tier. I'm gonna put it B tier. I can't justify A tier unless like I've heard like good things about it. All right, let's just try to pick out some ones that we do know to get this tier list kicked off. 3.js. So obviously a JavaScript web-based game development tool. And I think it's pretty good. Obviously it's hard. Web games are hard, honestly, just because of like performance and everything. It can be hard to get that going. But so I think just like any other web game engine, there can be issues with performance and having higher quality environments, but I think we can put it in A tier. I think that'll be okay. What else? CryEngine, obviously. I feel like there've been some good games made with CryEngine, obviously. So we can put it A tier. Obviously never used it. What else do we have? GDevelop. Dude, this one's like I think it's web or mobile only or something like that, which is very interesting. Yeah, like I don't think they have a desktop app for GDevelop. I did download it, tried it out because it's on mobile, which is interesting. But yeah, I guess like if you really wanted to try creating a game entirely during the time while you're, on a train going to work or something like that could be a cool idea. That could be a cool idea. So I think we can A tier that. It has promise. What else? What else is down here? Let's scan through until we get one that we know more about. Monogame, I feel like it's okay. Haven't really used it that. Okay, this tier list is not going well. I'm not gonna lie. This tier list is not going well. Most of these game engines I haven't used. I've used like a grand total of, I don't know, maybe 5 game engines in my time, and we have like 30 on the list here. So let's pull out Unity. Unity. Okay, here's the thing. Unity used to be an S tier engine. When I first downloaded this back in 2017, it was a great game engine. And they had really good learning tools. Like you could follow the tutorials and everything and get set up really nicely, really quickly, relative to other game engines. But then we knocked them down a tier because their documentation and engine have been kind of slipping. We knocked them down another tier because their pricing stuff has been slipping, and they end up in B tier, which is probably a fair place to put them. Scanning through here, we have Game Maker Studio 2. I downloaded it once. I didn't love the programming language that they used. It was a higher level language, kind of like Python or something like that, but I don't know, it was very unclear like what the actual structures of the language were and how inheritance and pointers and all that kind of stuff was actually going to work. It was very unclear. So it's probably better for beginners, but when you try to, I don't know. I mean, I was a beginner to the engine, but not a beginner to game programming. So I don't know. I was having a little trouble understanding how the language was structured and how it was meant to be used. But then maybe I'll put it in A tier, giving it the benefit of the doubt because I didn't try it that much. So that may be on my fault as well. What else? Obviously Unreal Engine. What is this here? It's like invisible. We can slightly see it. Ogre. I don't know. I haven't used it. Okay, Unreal Engine. We have to put something in S tier. We kind of have to put something in S tier. So I think I'm going to put Unreal Engine in S tier because I like it a lot. There are drawbacks. It's not as beginner friendly as at least as Unity used to be. It's probably similar now. Unity might still be a little bit more beginner friendly. Game Maker is probably not as beginner friendly just because there's not as much volume of tutorials. Unreal does have a high volume of tutorials, so it's great there. But there are some complexities, and of course, I love Macs, and so the fact that Unreal has an ongoing fight with Apple is annoying. So I kind of want to put it in A tier, and then there will be nothing in S tier, except for the YouTube subscribe button. But yeah, that might be all we can rank from this list here. Yeah, I don't know a lot of these engines, so let's just keep it rolling on to our next tier list. What else do we have to tier list? That's all the Arduino related tier lists, I think. So then we go to our fallback tier list methodology, which is find something Star Wars related, because of course, yeah, you know why. But we try to keep it still related to electronics and technology. Last time we were ranking lightsaber hilts, because of course we make lightsabers, and maybe at some point on the channel we'll make a droid, which would be awesome. So today we're going to be ranking all of the droids in Star Wars. There's maybe a bit of a memory challenge as well. I don't know about you guys, but this is looking like a lot of droids. Up first we have this bounty hunter droid guy. He's called like 4LOM. And he looks kind of cool, honestly, like an evil bug C-3PO guy. Yeah, he looks pretty cool, but obviously we don't have any character for him, so he's kind of B tier. Yeah, I mean, he kind of exudes character. Like, you see him on screen, you're like, yeah, that's a bounty hunter droid. He fits the part well, but obviously we don't have any development there. What is this the one from Jabba's palace? I think it is. Actually, I had some character, but probably also B tier. You know, I love a good sadistic droid, but I think B tier. Obviously, not a lot of room for character development, and not as nice of a design here as some of the other designs. Like this is a really nice design. So I don't think we can put this guy above that guy. Okay, this is Cad Bane's assistant from the Clone Wars and Bad Batch as well. I forget the name, but I think tier list components, MOSFET rank S. Tier list components, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, honestly. We should do that. After we finish this tier list, I'll see if there is one, and if there's not, then we'll do it. We might be able to do it next week or in a future stream if I have to assemble it myself. But yeah, tier list components is actually, that's a really good idea. Let's do that next if we can. Commando battle droid, pretty cool, honestly, and they don't have quite as good lines as the classic B1 battle droids, but they do. They're pretty imposing. Same with B2s, pretty A tier. B1s, of course, got to put them in S. Honestly, if the unique design wasn't enough, then surely the fact that they come up with the most ridiculous lines that no soldier bot should ever be spouting off is definitely enough to grant them an S tier rank. BB-8, you know, a lot went wrong with the prequels. I think hopefully we all can agree with that, but BB-8 was not one of the things that went wrong. That's actually an awesome design that would definitely be a cool droid to make on the channel at some point, and is more feasible than anything with legs, because legs are hard in our universe. They seem to be much easier and much more prevalent in the Star Wars universe. But BD1 S tier, absolute. I'm putting him at the top of S tier, absolute S tier droid, S tier all the way. Such a friendly little guy. Like this, I mean, when you're playing a video game, because this is from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, like you have a lot more time for the characters to develop, because it's a 20-hour, 40-hour story. So awesome droid there. Buzz droids are pretty cool. I don't think we can S tier them, but flying around, chopping stuff up, it's cool stuff. C-3PO kind of got to S tier him. Yeah. Not exactly the smartest droid or the coolest looking droid, but definitely a classic droid. Cool for that. Okay, then we have this absolutely creepy protocol droid C-3PO knockoff, whatever. That's disturbing. I don't know what was going on with that, but I think we'll B tier it. It has some character at least. Droidekas, honestly, S tier. They look absolutely amazing. I mean, just the roll around, the pop up, the bubble shield, and they look like a threat, and they are a threat. That's yeah, definitely something to watch out for. Oh, this is a droid from Jabba's palace, so I must have misranked the other one that I thought was from Jabba's palace. What is that? So like one of the. Oh, I think it's in the bar on Tatooine. I don't know, probably C tier if anything. Vulture droids are pretty cool. Yeah, definitely like a starship, droid turned starship's pretty cool. Plus, like if you played like the Lego Star Wars games where they get down and they walk around on their little wing leg things, definitely some cool design principles going on there. I think it's S tier. There's also this like bomber variant, which I don't know, seems kind of pointless. I'm gonna put it C tier, honestly. Like, well, this is fine. This is a great design. You don't need to make it chunkier and uglier. That is what that is, right? Wait, or is that the OG? Okay, I accidentally switched them because I saw this one first. This is like the kind of mid bomber design. I'm a fan of symmetrical designs. This one's much more symmetrical, much more beautiful in my opinion. So I think that's S tier. The bomber design's kind of mid, maybe B tier is fine for that. Same with the droid tri-fighter, like, you know, whatever. Droid with gun in space, you know, kind of blends in with other stuff. It's not great. It's not great. Okay, we have one of the server droids from Dexter's Cantina. Honestly, good design there, like good stuff going on, but probably B tier. There's, again, not like much character or anything going on. I might C tier this droid tri-fighter, honestly. It's not great. Next up we have this this medical droid, FX series medical droid with all the arms. Kind of a cool design there. Obviously pretty simple, but a cool design, you know. I think we'll B tier it, I guess. Gonk droids, obviously classic. If not S tier, then A tier, I guess. I mean, you just that Gonk soundbite is just such a classic. You gotta have that. You gotta have that. IG-88, very nice. Or is it 11? I think it's 88. Very nice, very cool, and IG-11 as well. Cool character stuff going on there for IG-11. So yeah, I honestly S tier that since we're not sure if it's IG-88 or 11. Interrogator droid, pretty cool. Yeah, definitely menacing. The little sound effect is nice. So I think I'll A tier that. B tier. K2SO, S tier droid. He has some of the funniest lines. Rogue One is a banger movie, and K2SO is a part of that, a respectable part of that. Absolutely hilarious lines there. Lando's droid sidekick, L337. Pretty cool. A tier. Some funny lines, obviously. Classic droid. Magna Guards, pretty cool. A tier. Obviously not as much character as some of the good guy droids always get such good characters, even though the good guy droids characters are kind of evil, but whatever, you know, whatever. The bad guy droids generally have to go by looks rather than character, which is, you know, is a tough way to live. Another medical droid, kind of mid, honestly, just kind of generic, I guess. Another medical droid, this one from when they were trying to save Padme, but they couldn't because she'd lost the will to live. Yeah, so not a very successful medical droid at that. Mouse droid, I think B tier. If we wanted to make the easiest of these, if we wanted to make one of these, the easiest would certainly be the mouse droid, that is to say. So yeah, that's something. Kind of mid though, kind of mid floor cleaner. Pit droids are kind of funny. I think I'll A tier them. They're pretty funny. What is this guy down here though? What is this? Is this from like, I don't know. It's like a concept art. I'm not sure what it is though. We might have to make a new tier for, I don't know, and put him in that. Sorry about that, little guy. Okay, then we have this one. Yeah, decent. I don't know. I don't recall as much about this guy from the Clone Wars. Again, he was like a separatist droid guy. I don't know that much about him. I think I'm gonna C tier him. Darth Maul's little scanner droids. Yo, you're new. Yes, let's go. Yes, so what we're doing right now, we just went through a few tier lists. What we're doing right now is we're tier listing all of the Star Wars droids. And maybe at some point we'll be able to actually go and make one of these S tier droids on the channel. That's a long-term goal. That's a long-term goal to make one of these droids. The top contenders for that would probably be BB-8 or BD-1 if we could, you know, figure out some legs, because legs are a challenge for droids. But yes, next on the tier list we have one of Darth Maul's little scanner droids. So, you know, that's decent, I guess. Kind of I don't know why I said that's decent. It's kind of lame. It's not great. This probe droid had much more character. You know, they got the nice sounds like yeah, I don't know why they haven't hired me as a voice actor for this probe droid yet. But anyway, A tier droid, some good sound design there. Then we have one of these mega homing spider droids here. B tier. I'm pretty impressive, but not not quite A tier. By the way, guys, if you have any input at all on where you think these should go, definitely shout it out and we'll argue about it. Thank you, I appreciate that. We do our best to rate them as well as possible. The Octoptara droid, kind of similar thing, pretty, a scary big bad droid, but not that great. Then we have one of the smaller spider droids. They're a little bit fun. If you guys have played Lego Star Wars, it's fun to just hop on one of these and run around. So it's gonna get promoted to A tier slightly, just for that. Lego Star Wars really does a good job shaking up the balance. Yeah, go ahead and eat. Hopefully you can join us later or next week, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. We have this buff-looking droid. Looks like he's flexing to show us his. I don't know. Like what is it? This is like this looks Jedi, but I don't know what it is. I'm blanking on what this is. I'm gonna have to put in the I don't know. Just a random droid that looks like he's flexing. I don't know. Tactical droids, pretty. I like the idea. Smart droid, because in our day and age, that's what the computing power is mostly used for, being smart, not taking over the galaxy. But I think A tier is a good place for that. What do we have next? One of these tanks. I'm not sure if these are droids really. I know in some, I feel like in the older Star Wars Battlefront you could ride on one of these. Not sure. I feel like it's more of a machine, but it's a cool scene. It's a cool scene, them running around on Kashyyyk with their treads skimming along the waves. Like that's cool. I don't know if it's physically possible for the treads to do that with the water staying on the surface. Let's just say it's possible. It looks cool. That is cool. Okay, these Hailfire droids look really cool. Like the angled wheels and the missile racks. I like that a lot. I think I'm gonna S tier that. It's just such a nice design. Like who would think of putting hollow wheels on there like that? Like, yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Then we have this Wed Treadwell droid, I think it's called. Got all the arms. It's kind of mid, probably C tier. Just a background character from when Luke was buying R2 and C-3PO. This little guy, what is that? I think I'm gonna have to put it in. I don't know this droid very well. I feel like I'm taking a few L's here, not knowing these guys. Obviously R2 is an S tier droid. Just, yeah, classic. He's like the OG droid. Like, what else is there? Another good candidate for if we were gonna make a droid. These would probably be our top candidates here for making a droid. But yeah, that's I feel like that's a solid tier list of Star Wars droids here. Dude, I don't know why the tier lists are rushing by today. Last week we got through 3, maybe 4 tier lists and it took us 2 hours. Now we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4. We've gone through 5 tier lists. 2 of them were kind of half tier lists, but somehow we've raged all the way through 5 somewhat tier lists in just over an hour. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, so yeah, that's all the tier listing I had planned for today, and even a little bit more than I had planned. But we can find something else Star Wars tier list since we still have some time. Let me just search Star Wars and we'll tier list what comes up. Dude, why is Star Trek the third? We do not like Star Trek. We do not like Star Trek. We do not like Star Trek. It's fine. But people can't compare it to Star Wars because it's just not the same. It's not the same kind of thing. Star Wars lightsaber duels. That's a spicy one. Or just the movies in general or the characters. Yeah, this is a tough one. We have some good options here. I think we'll go with duels because we like the lightsaber themed ones. So let's get our thinking brains on because we're gonna have some tough decisions here. That's for sure. Some of these are gonna be pretty tough. We are starting off with this Anakin versus Dooku Clone Wars duel. Which one is this? Definitely. I mean, Dooku. Look, I just love Dooku's fighting style is absolutely amazing. It's amazing. Dooku's whole character is amazing too. Most people disagree on that. I don't know why, but Dooku is actually just such a great character. I think I'm gonna put A tier. Oh, this is an Obi-Wan versus Grievous Clone Wars fight, I believe. And yeah, it's pretty good, and probably not as good as his live action duel, which is over here. Absolutely S tier. I mean, that was a phenomenal duel. Just dude, going up against 4 lightsaber blades. The choreography for that had to be insane. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put this A tier just because it's not quite as good as like one of these. Ahsoka, kind of B tier, honestly. I feel like that wasn't as good as some of the other duels with Ahsoka or with Grievous. So yeah, I think B tier. I don't want to be too harsh, but this is Ahsoka and Luminara against Ventress. Okay. Some of these weren't that long, right? Like, I don't feel like these were that long or that big of a deal. I don't know. It's tough to rank some of them. Kit Fisto versus Grievous, again, B tier. Like, I feel like some of these just really weren't that big of a deal. Here we have Ahsoka versus Barriss, and right below we also have Ahsoka versus Barriss, no? So that's kind of odd. I guess B tier. I don't know where I feel like a lot of these are going to be B tier. I don't remember some of these Clone Wars fights that much, if I'm being honest. Yeah, so Grievous versus Obi-Wan here, also probably B tier. So I might have to start C tiering stuff. Like, I don't feel like, C tiering any of these, but some of them are going to have to be C tiered. Maybe some will even have to be F tiered. There's just so many that are so similar. Like, trying to remember these. Okay, Obi-Wan versus this the Mandalorian guy was pretty intense. Vizsla. Yeah, I feel like that's good. That whole section there was pretty intense with Obi-Wan. Ahsoka versus Maul. All right, let's pick that one out because that one was a good duel. We had some good. I mean, partly it's just the time period it was taking place in. Cutting back and forth between that and some of the other Order 66 stuff that was going on. If you've seen any compilations of that, timelines of that, it's insane. We have Obi-Wan versus Grievous, where Obi-Wan had one of the electro staves. Whatever, Ventress versus Anakin. I feel like that was decent. That was a decent one. Qui-Gon versus Maul on Tatooine was kind of like there. Not that much happened. It was like swing. All right, I gotta run. It's the Sith Lord. Oh no. So that was kind of mid. Obi-Wan versus Grievous, again, probably another B tier. Bane versus Obi-Wan. Dude, I don't like to see my boy Obi-Wan go down to a shock glove. That's not great. It makes me kind of sad, but I think a high B tier is appropriate for this. Obi-Wan and Anakin versus Ventress, I think is what this is trying to say. Probably A tier, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I don't recall some of these Clone Wars fights very much. Oh, this is a good fight. This one between Dooku and the other guys. Maybe it's just because it's Dooku, but I feel like this is one of the ones where he does some very iconic with the lightsaber like this, and then some very iconic fighting. It's pretty epic. Oh, I almost forgot. We were supposed to be grabbing some components tier list. We're supposed to be doing a components tier list that someone suggested. So let's see if we can find one. If not, then I'll make one for next week. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So many people hopping on. Don't worry about it if you gotta hop off. I do appreciate everyone hopping on. And yeah, good night. We have components. We're looking for electronics components, not redstone components or whatever these other things are. Yeah, I'm not seeing much for the electronic components stuff here. What are these components tier lists? Okay, this is just Minecraft tier list. yeah, okay. So let's put together a components tier. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I released the, the video, and then I also cut it down into the other sections too. So if you prefer to watch it like that, or if you prefer to watch the raw live stream, either one of those is good. Dude, Chex Mix is actually great. I don't know why you would be ranking its components, but Chex Mix is great. I love Chex Mix. I should get a Chex Mix sponsorship. Sometime maybe down the road, you'll just see me eating Chex Mix, and you'll know that I've achieved a lifelong goal of getting a Chex Mix sponsorship. I think that would be pretty epic. Yeah, so there's no electronics components tier list. We're gonna have to save it for next week. I'll put one together between now and then. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it right after this stream. But yeah, I think that might be it for today. That's all the tier lists I prepared. I'm really trying to come up with more content for the live streams. Tier lists are great, but we can't just do tier lists. We have to do some other stuff as well. So if you guys have any suggestions, if you're watching this live, chat it right now. If you're watching it later, comment it below. I need to come up with more live stream content. So any suggestions are very welcome and will probably happen because I don't have that many suggestions on the table right now. Anyway, here's the tier list we made. Got a droids tier list, Arduino tools tier list. Wow, we really didn't have any bad tools. It was just good tools. Probably because the tools were tools I was thinking of off the top of my head, and I'm probably more likely to remember good tools that I actually use than bad tools that I don't. Arduino sensors tier list, electronics distributors tier list, which was kind of a fiasco, but it's whatever. And same with the game engines tier list. I call myself a game programmer, and I don't even know what half of these are, or what all of these ones down here are, pretty much. So, yeah, that's rough. But anyway, those are our tier lists for today. If anyone has any questions, comments, suggestions, go ahead and hit me with them right now, because that's all of our tier lists for today. Ooh, look, nice lightsaber. That's all of our tier lists for today. That's all the content. Next week, we're probably going to we might do another game in 1 hour challenge or something like that. Maybe do a little bit better this time, or maybe we'll continue with the game we were making last week. But anyway, I'm thinking for now we'll alternate game stream, Arduino stream, game stream, Arduino stream, kind of like that. And again, any suggestions for non-tier list content or various tier lists that you'd like to see, anything like that, definitely send it to me on Discord or on the YouTube comments section. Anyway, I think that's all for today, so thank you everyone who tuned in. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Okay, so again, the end stream button pops up a confirmation, so let's just repeat that. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. See, much better.